3 a.m., and a jolt in my chest shook me awake. It wasn't a pain. It was a skipped beat, an unnerving pause that made the world stand still. In that single moment, a cold question ran down my spine: is this it? Luckily, it wasn't a heart attack. But I would later learn, it was the first urgent letter my body had ever sent me. A silent cry for help that so many of us, my fellow travelers on this journey, have been receiving every single day. Have you ever felt that? That feeling when your heart sometimes skips a beat, then races as if it's in a sprint? That invisible sense of unease that seems to hang around, making that feeling of high blood pressure even worse. Or have you had those nights, lying awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling exhausted, but your mind simply refuses to quiet down? We often blame it on two simple words: old age. But I am here to tell you that is not the whole truth. These silent heart symptoms, the sleepless nights, the waves of anxiety, they are not separate issues. They are branches of the same tree, growing from a single root, a deficiency in a mineral I call the missing piece to the puzzle of peace. If any of the feelings I've just described resonate with you, please type the number 1 in the comments below, so I know we are on this journey together. In this video today, I will not only reveal the name of that missing piece. I will take you on a deep dive into why it is the golden key to senior health, explaining how it gently calms the nervous system, regulates your heartbeat, and gives you back the peace that is rightfully yours. And you must be sure to stay until the very end. I will be sharing a simple nightly ritual, a natural, calming nightcap, that helped me put an end to those painful leg cramps for good, and turn my restless nights into a journey into the deepest rest. Now, let us discover this forgotten secret together. My friends, our bodies are always speaking to us. It doesn't use words, but signals, whispers. The problem is, after so many years of living, we seem to have forgotten that primal language. We forget how to listen. That sudden leg cramp in the middle of the night that makes you seize up in pain, that is a whisper. That uncontrollable twitch in your eyelid after a long day, that is a whisper. That lingering fatigue, even after a full 8 hours of sleep, that is also a whisper. And those random heart palpitations while you're just sitting quietly with a book, making that feeling of high blood pressure even more stressful, those are the most urgent whispers of all. At first, they are just small, quiet noises, easily dismissed. But when they go unanswered, those whispers turn into shouts. Shouts of exhaustion. Shouts of anxiety. The real pain isn't just in the physical symptoms. It's in the shadow they cast over our lives. It builds an invisible prison, trapping us in the land of what if. What if I have another night of sleeplessness? What if my heart starts racing while I'm out? That fear chips away at our confidence, day by day, hour by hour. It makes us hesitate. We hesitate when our partner asks us to go for a long walk. We hesitate when a beloved grandchild runs up, asking to be lifted into our arms. We're afraid our bodies won't cooperate, afraid we will become a burden. And this is our greatest mistake, one that I myself have made. We gather all of these signals, put a single label on them, and tell ourselves, oh, this is just a normal part of getting old. We have allowed the words old age to become a thief, silently stealing our energy, our peace, and our joy for living. We accept it as an inevitable part of life. Have you ever felt that way? As if you are fighting against your own body, instead of being an understanding partner to it? Please type the number 1 if you have, and the number 2 if you have not. Your honesty is an invaluable source of encouragement for me and for our entire community. But today, I want to tell you, we do not have to accept this. The root of the problem is not our age, but rather a deficiency that we can replenish. In the next part, we will look back at the temporary fixes, the false hopes that so many of us have tried, only to realize that we have only been treating the leaves, while completely ignoring the root. For many years, this cup of chamomile tea was my closest companion each night. I believed that with a little patience, a few herbs, I could coax sleep to return. I turned my kitchen into a small laboratory, filled with all sorts of calming teas, from lotus seed and passion flower to lavender. I also learned to breathe deeply, so deeply, whenever I felt my heart flutter. I practiced meditation, listened to calming music, did everything people suggested could quiet the mind and stop that high blood pressure number from dancing. I reduced the salt in my meals until they were nearly tasteless. I gave up my beloved morning coffee. I did all the right things. And it's true, they did have an effect. But it was a fragile, superficial kind of effect. Sleep would come, but it was fitful, easily broken by the slightest noise. My heart rate would stabilize, only to race again at the slightest, unimportant stress. It was like using a small cup, trying to bail water out of a boat that was leaking from a dozen invisible holes you could never find. You might clear the water for a moment, but the boat is still sinking, slowly, surely sinking. And this, my friends, is the heart of the disappointment. It isn't anger. It is a quiet resignation. It's the hope that diminishes with every morning you wake up still feeling tired. It's the confidence that erodes every time you have to decline a joyful activity, fearing your body won't let you. It's a weariness that is not just physical, but spiritual. A feeling of powerlessness that seeps into every corner of your life, making us believe that perhaps this is as good as it gets. We begin to live a smaller life, pulling our boundaries in just to feel safer. Have you ever felt your hope dwindle after trying a new solution, only to be met with the same results? Please type the number 1 if you have, and the number 2 if you have been fortunate enough to never feel this way. Every number you type is a story shared, showing that we are not alone in this silent battle. I was in that exact place, at the very bottom of that fatigue, and I had almost accepted my fate. I thought this was the final chapter in my story of senior health. But it was right there, at that lowest point, when I had all but stopped searching, that a light appeared from a place I never expected. A forgotten truth, a missing piece, that changed everything. And in the next part, I will tell you about that moment of revelation. On a rainy late autumn afternoon, while clearing out my dusty old attic, I found a wooden box, faded by the years. It was a box of keepsakes from the venerable physician who had mentored me in my early days of studying natural health. As I opened it, a familiar scent of old paper and memories filled the air. Inside, among the yellowed books, was a small, leather-bound notebook. And on one of its pages, I found a handwritten note that my mentor had left for me years ago. A single, powerful line of scrawled ink that would completely change the course of my heart health journey. That line read, "Harold, when the body loses its peace, don't just look at the branches. Look to the root. Look for magnesium, the mineral of peace." Magnesium. In that single moment, everything clicked. All the scattered puzzle pieces suddenly fit together perfectly. The skipped heartbeats, the nights of sleeplessness, the stubborn high blood pressure, the baseless anxiety. They were no longer separate enemies. They were simply symptoms of the same problem, a mineral deficiency I had unknowingly overlooked. Why do we overlook it? Because it is so quiet. We are taught to pay attention to calcium for our bones, and potassium for our heart, but magnesium is the unsung hero, working in the shadows. It is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in our bodies, from producing energy to regulating our nervous system. And the tragedy is, according to the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, nearly half of all older adults in developed countries are living with a magnesium deficiency and don't even know it. Our soil is no longer as rich in minerals as it once was, and modern food processing has stripped this mineral of peace from our daily meals. Holding that notebook in my hands, I didn't feel disappointed about all the things I had tried and failed. I felt an immense sense of hope rising within me. It felt as though I had just found a long-lost treasure map, showing the way out of the dense forest of fatigue and anxiety. Finally, I had found the root of the problem. Do you feel that? A little flicker of hope, a spark of curiosity being lit within you? If you do, please type the number 1, so I know that this light has reached you. Now that we know the name of this silent hero, the next question is, how does it work? How can one simple mineral create such a miraculous change? In the next part, I won't use complicated scientific terms. I will explain it to you in the language of a gardener, a carpenter, so that we can all truly understand the extraordinary power hidden behind the name magnesium. I must confess, at first, I was a skeptic myself. How could a single mineral be the answer to three seemingly unrelated problems: high blood pressure, an irregular heartbeat, and chronic sleeplessness? It sounded too good to be true. But then I realized that magnesium is not a magic pill that cures all ills. It is a silent custodian, a master craftsman, restoring the fundamental balance our bodies have lost. Allow me to explain using images that I believe we can all visualize. First, let's talk about blood pressure. Imagine our blood vessels are like the garden hoses in our backyard. When we are young, they are soft and flexible. But over the years, stress and nutritional deficiencies cause them to stiffen, much like a rubber hose left out in the sun, becoming brittle and rigid. When the hose is stiff, the water pressure inside skyrockets. That is high blood pressure. And then magnesium arrives, like a gentle and diligent gardener. It doesn't use force. It gently soothes the walls of the blood vessels, helping them relax and regain their natural softness. When the hose is flexible again, the blood can flow smoothly, and that dangerous pressure is naturally relieved. Next, let's talk about our heart. Picture the heart as a grand symphony orchestra, and every beat is a musical note. In that orchestra, calcium is an enthusiastic musician, always ready to create powerful notes, the contractions. But without a conductor, that enthusiastic musician might play too hard, creating a chaotic rhythm, sometimes too fast, sometimes too slow. That is the fluttering, the skipped heartbeat we feel. And magnesium is the calm and wise conductor. It stands at the podium, using its baton to give the signals. It says to calcium, "Well done, but now it is time to rest." It ensures that every note is played at the right time, with the right intensity, creating a symphony that is harmonious, strong, and steady. It doesn't eliminate the energy. It regulates it. Do you find this image of the conductor easy to understand and meaningful? If so, please type the number 1. If not, please type the number 2, so I know how to explain it better in the future. And finally, there is sleep. Many people think our nervous system has only an on and off switch. But that very thought is what makes it so hard to fall asleep. A mind that is fully on with 1,000 thoughts cannot suddenly be turned off. Think of magnesium as a dimmer switch. Instead of abruptly shutting off the light, it slowly, gently turns the knob. It gradually reduces the intensity of your racing thoughts, soothes the nervous system, and guides your body and mind from a state of bright alertness to gentle relaxation, and finally, into the peaceful darkness of deep sleep. A gardener, a conductor, and a dimmer switch. Those are the three magical roles of the silent hero named magnesium. Understanding its power is one thing. But knowing how to choose the right kind and how to use it for optimal results is another story entirely. And in the most important part ahead, I will share with you my own personal treasure map. Have you ever walked into a large pharmacy, gone to the supplement aisle, and felt completely overwhelmed? Before you stands a wall of hundreds of bottles. Each one with a hard-to-read scientific name, each one with a grand promise. You stand there, lost in a maze of choices, and in the end, you either give up and leave or you pick one at random with a sliver of hope. I, too, was once lost in that very maze. But today, I will be your guide. I will not give you 100 different keys. I will give you just 3 of the most important keys, which open the 3 doors I believe you need the most. Because not all magnesium is created equal. Each type has its own special mission. The first key, and the most precious one for me, is called magnesium glycinate. Think of it as a companion for your sleep. This form is extremely gentle on the stomach and can go straight to the nervous system, sending a simple message: it is time to rest. If you are searching for better sleep and a quieter mind, this is the key for you. The second key is called magnesium citrate. I call this the friendly beginner. It is very common, easily absorbed, and has the added small benefit of helping your digestive system run smoothly. If you are just starting your journey with mineral supplements and want a safe, all-around option, begin with this key. And the third key is named magnesium malate. This is the fire starter for your day. It is bound with malic acid, a natural substance found in fruit, which helps the body convert food into energy. If you feel tired and sluggish in the afternoon, this key can help to gently relight that fire of energy sustainably. So, of these 3 keys, one for sleep, one for starting, and one for energy, which one do you feel you need the most right now? Please, leave the number 1, 2, or 3 in the comments. I know, even this much information can still be a bit hard to remember. And that is why I have taken the time to create something special for you. I have put together Harold's Treasure Map. It is a short, simple guide that you can download, completely free of charge. On that map, you will find details about these 3 types of magnesium and a few others. The recommended safe dosages for senior health. A list of the most magnesium-rich foods you can add to your meals. And of course, the recipe for that calming nightcap I promised. The link to download it is right in the description below this video. This is my small gift to our community. Because knowledge gives us power. But it is only when we turn that knowledge into action that we truly create change. And that change, my friends, is more than just the numbers on a blood pressure monitor or the hours you sleep. It is a feeling of deep, profound peace. And in our final part, we will talk about that very feeling. My friends, I want to ask you a sincere question. When was the last time you sat down to read a good book, with a warm cup of tea, and didn't have a part of your mind quietly listening to your own heartbeat? When was the last time you lay down in bed, confident that you would have a deep sleep, instead of secretly dreading another long, restless night? For a long time, I had forgotten what that felt like. I had grown used to living with a constant, low-level anxiety, an uninvited companion. The worry about high blood pressure, about a sudden heart attack, became part of the very air I breathed. But now, that peace has returned. It isn't a feeling of overwhelming excitement. It is a gentle stillness. It's the feeling of my heart no longer being a source of concern, but returning to its role as a reliable, trusted partner, beating a strong and steady rhythm in my chest. It's the feeling of waking up in the morning, not to an alarm clock, but because my body is truly rested. That is the greatest gift that this journey to rediscover magnesium has given me. It is more than just better numbers on a machine. It is the confidence to say yes to life again. Yes to a long trip with the family. Yes to teaching a grandchild how to play chess. Yes to the simple moments I once had to hesitantly decline. In the end, this isn't just a story about mineral supplements. This is a story about reclaiming our moments. The precious moments that anxiety once stole from us. The moments of being fully ourselves, present and peaceful, with the ones we love. And as I promised at the beginning of this video, I will share the small gift that helps me begin each evening in that state of peace. I call it Harold's Calming Nightcap. The recipe is incredibly simple: a glass of warm water, not too hot. 1 teaspoon of magnesium glycinate powder. Stir it well, and drink it about 1 hour before you go to bed. This is not a pill, my friends. This is a ritual. A small act of gratitude to your body after a long day. A promise of a restful night to come. I hope that my story and my sharing today have brought you a new path, a new hope. If you feel they have, please type the number 1, so I know that these words have reached your heart. Because the journey of senior health is not a lonely battle. It is a path where we can guide and support one another. My friends, we began this journey together in the darkness of 3 a.m., with a heart that skipped a beat and a mind full of worry. We have walked through the maze of temporary fixes, and together, we found a forgotten map. That map pointed to a simple treasure named magnesium. But the most important thing I want you to take with you today is not a scientific name. It is a belief, you have the right to be at peace. You deserve to have deep, restorative sleep. And you have the power to write a new chapter in your own health story. This journey does not end here. For you, it is just beginning. Your first step is waiting for you in Harold's treasure map that I have prepared. Please remember to download it from the description below. It will be your compass. If you found this journey to be meaningful, I invite you to join us. Please press the subscribe button and turn on the little bell beside it, so you never miss another story on senior health in the future. And if you have a friend, or a loved one, who is also lost in this forest of worry, please share this video with them. A small act can light a great hope. Thank you for listening. I am Harold. And always remember, information doesn't change people. A good story and a new identity do. Be well.